Howdy folks, it's Matty with Gulf Coast Fit here in the beautiful Atitlan Underground in Tierra Atitlan here in Guatemala. Today I'm running through a combination of upper body pulling and lower body pressing. This is actually one of my favorite combinations, very effective full body-ish form of training, and upper body pulling and lower body pushing is a great formula because they don't overlap much. They don't have much to do with each other. Conventionally, my go-to upper body pull, lower body push superset is a pull-up with a front squat. But today I'm electing to do dumbbell rows with box step-ups. So the dumbbell rows is still an upper body pulling movement pattern, although it's not a vertical upper body pull, it's a horizontal upper body pull. The step-ups is still a pretty quad and vertically dominant movement pattern as far as the lower body is concerned, much like a front squat. So this combination and this couplet of exercises still fits the bill for an upper body pull and a lower body push. So I'm going to be alternating between box step ups, and you don't need a box. You can use a bench, a chair, a stool that's sturdy, a step, whatever you can step up on, a ledge. I'm going to be using a wall ball with this. You can use a slam ball, a wall ball. You could even use a kettlebell, dumbbell, any weight, but I am choosing a wall ball to differentiate what I'm gripping onto because all of my rows will be with these. I've got some 40-pound dumbbells right here. Not the heaviest weight for me to row because I want to keep the workout pretty dense. I want to go back and forth with just about 5 recovery breaths between each exercise. So like I was saying, a different thing to hold on to in different positions with the ball. That way I've got variation and I'm not just gripping onto the same circumference dumbbell for both the step-ups and the bent over rows. Now, through each round here, and there will be 12 sets total, 6 rounds through this combination of exercise. So that's 6 sets or 6 variations of step-ups, 6 variations of bent over rows. And you'll see when we're in action, every time we run through a row or a step-up variation, it will be a different variation. That way we get some variety within this. The movement pattern remains the same, upper body rowing, lower body pushing, but the variation will be different. That way we're attacking the muscles and our joints from a little bit different angles, which helps keep us move along without having to recover or wear down from doing the exact same thing over and over. So I like the variety. Variety is key for a workout like this, in my opinion. And without further ado, let's start into round 1 of we'll start with the step up. So got my slam ball and my wall ball. And like I said, you can use any weight, but if you've got a ball of some sort, let's put it to good use. Med ball, what have you. I'm going to start with a good old-fashioned offset, shoulder-loaded step up. So you see I've got same shoulder, same leg up. Make sure I don't hit my head on the fan here. I'm going to shoot 6 to 8 reps on each leg on every round of the step-ups. We'll go ahead and say it's going to be 8. And you see how I'm keeping my chest up and to remain vertical. I'm not leaning forward very much. I'm not hinging much. I'm trying to stay upright. Because the more upright you stay, the more of a lower body push this is. A vertical push, like I said, similar to a front squat. And you'll see that I'm keeping my working leg on the box at all times. I'm never stepping it off of the box. And the reason this is a pushing exercise is because it's a quad dominant exercise. A lot of knee flexion and extension, much like a front squat, much like a goblet squat. All right. Like I said, about 5 recovery breaths. Here we go. Do the hand motion with me. I'm going to set up for my first round of bent over rows. This is going to be a conventional bent over row, but I am hinging all the way down until I almost reach the ground on every single rep. 10 to 12 reps on each round of rows. So here I'm hinging, reaching, lift off into my first row, and then I keep them off the ground from there. You can see my back is very horizontal. Maintaining your hinged over position is very important. It's the foundation here. All right. 5 breaths. Deep, profound, steady breaths. Make them last, make them count. All right, next step up variation. I'm going to switch my lead leg and arm. I'm tucking it under, doing a side hug here. Same foot, same arm again. I'm putting my arm out as well, not to really keep my balance, but because using this gives me the leverage to help keep my body a little more upright. And once again, we want to keep the torso as vertical as possible, which is what helps classify this as a lower body push. We don't want it to become very hip hinge or horizontally dominant. Kind of lost count there. Might have had an extra rep, nothing wrong with that. And I'll show you what we're trying to avoid real quick. We don't want to lean forward like this. So we're not hinging and leaning forward. That turns it more into a vertical or a horizontal hip hinge dominant movement with more glutes and hamstrings. We're already getting a full lower body effect here. There's no avoiding that. But the more vertical you are, the more knee flexion, the more quad dominant, which is what we're going for in this upper body pull, lower body push exercise. Training session. All right. Here we go. Use your hands here. Inhale, inflate, expand. Two more. So I'm going to change the angle of our torso on the bent over rows. Not going to hinge over as far, but I do have to go down and get the dumbbells. Let's pick the dumbbells up this time. All right? Let's hinge over about halfway, 45 degrees. This puts a little more emphasis on the upper back, posterior delts, a little more upper trapezius. Go for a nice contraction at the top. Make sure you're not just dropping the weights. Control them down. 10 to 12 reps. All right, nice. Right into your breath. Waste no time. Make sure you're still recording on me. All right, good. Sometimes I screw that up. All right. This time, we're gonna hold the ball in front of us, goblet style. Once again, I'm gonna switch my lead leg. Give you another angle here. Hold the ball right up to your chin, elbows tucked in. Stand up fully, lock out your step up, control it all the way down. Brace your core. Make sure that you turn this into an ab exercise by bracing the abdominals, bracing the entire midsection, just in time to step up. Important to note here, the step, I like it to be so that my knee is at or above hip level. So you'll see my knee is above my hip. I like the step ups nice and deep, but if you can't keep it strict, then make sure you're decreasing the elevation a little bit. All right, just a couple breaths here. Took up some of our recovery time chit-chatting. All right, this time I'm going to meet you in the middle. We're going to hinge over, not as far as we did the first time, not as high as we did the second time, somewhere in between. Angles make all the difference here. So now the dumbbells are coming below my knees, but not all the way to the ground this time. Last time they were coming right. Oh yeah, we got turf wars going on. Sweetie pies keeping out the intruders. What I was saying is last time the dumbbells went to my knees, this time a little bit below the knees. All right, so the angles are everything when you're trying to keep your workout well-rounded. Hey. Yeah. We got a whole pack coming in. I'm gonna have to bring out the reinforcements. We didn't go let Mama Nini and Boy Dog out.
I think just probably shoo them out and close the door.
Shoo them out. Well, you can also let them out. Alright, we're doing a side step up now. A little glimpse into our life. It's a daily turf war. Our wolf pack against all of the feral wolf packs of the community. Here I am stepping up sideways. Same shoulder, same leg. Now we're adding in just a little bit of lateral motion, but you'll see here how much my knee is still bending. I sprung off the bottom leg a little too much there. I really have to brace the midsection right when I step. All right. Switch it up. Feel the quads, feel your core. Keep it strict, control the descent. Don't spring off that bottom leg. We had one dog taking on 4 outsiders, so we're releasing 2 of our enforcers out of the corral. And 3 of our dogs can pretty much handle any amount of intruders. We got 3 enforcers out, 6 reserves in the corral. That's how we roll. All right, let's go into our 4th variation of our dumbbell rows. Now, this is a special variation. You can call it a cheat row. we're going to use a little bit of body English, a little bit of momentum intentionally to help us get a bigger, higher contraction at the top. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and start the dumbbells on the ground. Let's reach for them, and then you'll see as I row and lift, I elevate my torso a little bit into the row. But I keep them off the ground. See me rock into it a little bit. This helps me row higher. Gets my elbows back further. Gets me a bigger lat contraction at the top. Teaches me to push through my feet, drive force into the ground. Hey, Mama Nina. Our primary enforcer right here. She's small, but she packs a wallop. She's the most vicious one we've got. Okay, breathe into it. All right, we've got another special variation. I say special because it's not very typical. It's not as conventional. Now this is a step up on the ball of your foot. A little more balance involved here, but the reason we're pushing with the ball of your foot, keeping the heel off the box, A, you can see how much more my knee has to bend, which means more quadricep recruitment, and B, I like to work the calves a little bit more. We all need some more calf gains. Since this does require a little more balance, I'm not going to offset the weight. I'm going to keep that ball right in front of me, goblet squat style again. Take your time on these. Don't rush through them, especially since this requires more balance. But feel how this requires more calf recruitment and is more challenging for the knees because of the increased angle, or I could say the decreased angle, more of an acute angle to start the movement pattern off. All right, switch it up. Really got me breathing hard here. Steady your breath. Recommit to your breath. Both interset and intraset. Very important. We're not just recommitting between sets to our breath. It's one of the primary things we focus on each and every rep and each and every set. All right. Fifth variation of our bent over dumbbell rows, we're going with a pendulum row. Love pendulum rows because they focus on starting strength, producing force from nothing, starting from a standstill, starting strength. Very important to enhance in anyone's game. There we go. Hands all the way down from the ground every rep. Take your breath before you pull. You gotta load your torso up. Expand, inflate, and brace. Gotta protect and pack your back. Support your lower spine. Keep it strong. Keep it safe. Push into the ground with your feet. Every rep, that's what I'm focusing on. Pushing down through the feet. More than I'm thinking about. There we go. Pulling up with the dumbbells. I'm thinking more about pushing down. Whew. All right. Big air, deep air, steady air. Let's get rid of the ball. for a good reason. All right, last set of step-ups. Now I gave you a cheat row variation. Now, you can consider this a cheat step-up, but I don't, because we're doing this for a reason. Now, we are going to use a little bit of spring from the bottom leg, but we're also going to use a little bit of spring on the top leg. Different angle here. Now this is to work a little bit more synergistically with the lower body or lower extremity and the extremity that's on the box. Helps you get a little bit more of an explosive effect. And you'll see me use my arms a little bit. You'll see me use the bottom leg a little bit. You'll see me spring up and do a little bit of a calf raise at the top. We don't stand up and stop on the box this time. There we go. This is more dynamic, more ballistic. Keep your head up. Keep your eyes forward. Don't look down. Doing their job. Might sound scary. Yes, that's the sound of security. Don't you want to come here? See the turf wars. My left side is a little bit less fluid. I don't like that, but it's good to notice. Good job, Mama Nina. Good job, boy dog. Good job, sweetie pie. All right. Okay, sixth and final row variation. We're going to take it back down to a pendulé row. This time, an alternating pendulé row, which I like alternating anything. It feels good. You get a little bit more of a contralateral effect. Here we go. So, coming from the ground, alternating rows. Speed these reps up. We're still pushing through the feet. I'm actually pushing it through my hand and dumbbell on the ground as well. I'm going to take it to 20, 10 on each side. Maybe 22. All right. Oh, so there you have it. That's a 12-set workout, 6 sets of step-ups, 6 sets of rows. Now, you're not rowing with the heaviest weight in the world because the idea is to bounce back and forth in a very dense fashion, keeping your heart rate elevated. The reason that we're coupling a lower body push is because your spine is more vertical. When you're bent over, you have more shearing force on your spine, and that's why I'm not coupling bent over rows with something like a lower body pull, such as a deadlift, or a back squat, which is much more hip hinge dominant, much more horizontal in nature. Also gives you more shearing force on your spine. So, as part of the formula, we've got not only an upper body and lower body exercise that can't conflict much, but we've got a more vertically based exercise as far as the spine is concerned, and a more horizontally positioned exercise with the spine. So taking that into consideration can make your workout safer, stronger, and more efficient, because how you load your spine plays a huge role in how hard you're taxing your nervous system. That's the primary culprit behind nervous system burnout, is a lot of spinal compression. People doing too many back squats, too many front squats, and too many deadlifts, things that are really compressing and shearing the spine a lot. Takes a big toll, takes a lot to bounce back and recover from. I love all those exercises, but you can't do all of them all the time, and a lot of the time you can't even do them in the same session. So something to think about. Have a go at this. 12 sets. Take you about 20 minutes, 25 maybe. Give it a go.